It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey, guys. Good morning. All right. So I am not going to lie. After this past week, it was so hard for me to get up and do videos on Saturday and Sunday. And this morning I woke up and I felt like my eyelids were glued to my face. I'm like, but I had my 4 shots of espresso and I am ready to go. We have a lot happening today. I'm doing Wake Up and Adam at 9:30. Of course, we have pre-records coming your way. We're going live on DJ Richie Sky's channel at 11:15 a.m. Eastern to talk about Salt Lake City again. And then Jason's doing some of his favorite housewives products reviews at 4 p.m. So again, there's a lot happening. But in the meantime, we have a lot to talk about now. Guys, this is a subscribers only live chat. So if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to smash that like button. And let's kick off with, I want to start our morning off the right way with a glow up. Actually, let me go ahead to and drop the link here for you guys. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to start with a glow up. I dropped the link for you guys for whenever you want to call in. Look at this. And thank you, Zach Peter. All right, guys. So we know that Lala Kent apparently is dating a new man, and she's just started dating this man. We don't know much about him yet, but what we do know is she said he's built like Superman. Okay, built like Superman. That's a good start. And Zach went on and said, Lala Kent went on a date this week with a new mystery man. She described him as built like Superman with lots of tats. Rumors swirled per Bravo and Cocktails that this guy, Josh Straw, might be him. He's apparently known Lala for a while and looks pretty built like Superman to me. Now, Lala has denied that this is the new guy, but why wouldn't she deny that that's the new guy? Because at the end of the day, whoever she's dating, she doesn't want Randall or anybody else to be able to know exactly who she's talking to so he can interfere. Click to call in. I'm dropping the link again and pinning it for you guys before I move on. There's actually a couple glow-ups that we have to talk about, but then a couple of tragedies as well, because some shit in the Bravo world is not going the best. But I do want to know in the live chat, what do you guys think about this? Because obviously we see Randall Emmett on the left and we see this new man on the right. From what we've heard about him, he apparently works in nightclubs and he is a couple years sober at this point. He had his own sobriety battle. Is it true? Is it not true? Is this the guy? We don't know, but we've seen celebrities before. And if you want to call Lala Kent a celebrity, we can call her a celebrity. But we've seen celebrities before try to keep their anonymity as much as possible in order to protect whatever relationship they're trying to navigate. Now, that's not the only new relationship. We're going to talk about James Kennedy in a little bit. But one thing I want to talk about here is this shit show that is going on with the Kardashians. Let's get this out of the way. I can't keep up with Kim and Kanye. I feel like I'm starting to get whiplash. Some might call Kanye a crazy creative genius. Some might say that he's just crazy. Some might say he's just a genius. For Kim, they're calling her ignorant right now. And I was like, why are we calling Kim Kardashian ignorant? Well, it's because Kanye West has taken to social media. He has since deleted all these posts, just to be fair, but took to social media to let all of us know that he is fighting for the rights to keep his daughter, North, who is 8 years old, off of the TikTok platform. It's a social media platform. We all know it. And Candace Owens even stood up for him saying, yeah, Kim, maybe listen to your soon-to-be ex-husband because an 8-year-old really has no business being on TikTok. For Kim Kardashian, she's like, I feel like my daughter, she should be able to express herself creatively. That coffee has not hit yet. Creatively. And I think this is a great platform for her to do so. Now, I don't have children, okay? But I feel like if I had an 8-year-old, just because I see how mean social media can be, and I have a much smaller platform than any of them, I would not want my 8-year-old on social media seeing what she thinks is the perfect person or the perfect body, or this is how you should dress. Or can you imagine how toxic it would be to be an 8-year-old and feel like you have to keep up with the Joneses, even though technically Northwest is the Joneses? Okay, hold on. I want to get to a place where Kanye at one point, well, he was loving towards his wife. Kanye, a long time ago, it was actually July 25th of 2020, said, I would like to apologize to my wife, Kim, for going public with something that was a private matter. I did not cover her like she has covered me. To Kim, I want to say, I know I hurt you. Please forgive me. Thank you for always being there. And then, oh, here it goes. Yesterday, Kim accused me of putting a hit out on her. So let me get this straight. I beg to go to my daughter's party and I'm accused of being on drugs. Then I go play with my son and I take my Akira graphic novels and I'm accused of stealing. Now I'm being accused of putting a hit on her. These ideas can actually get someone locked up. They play like that with Black men's lives, whether it's getting them free or getting them locked up. I'm not playing about my Black children anymore. I mean, that is a serious accusation. Now, Kim hasn't come out and said anything, but you really can't accuse people of trying to put a hit out on you. That's, I mean, I don't want to say it's ridiculous because you never know. What if somebody does put a hit out on you? And if she is saying something and we're dismissing it, well, then that could be dangerous. I don't know. I need to take a caller on this one because this is a lot. But before I start taking callers, guys, we have over 200 in the room. Go ahead and smash that like button. Let's at least end this on a positive before we start ripping into Kanye. Kylie Jenner had her little baby. Guys, she had her baby on February 2nd of 2022. It's a baby boy. I have speculation that she was able to pick that she wanted a boy. I mean, could she have had a boy naturally? Yes. I tried giving you guys a little bit of sex education yesterday, and I said, it's the eggs that pick the gender. I'm such an idiot. I got it so backwards. It's the sperm that picks the gender. But nowadays, I feel like celebrities can not only pick their children's eye colors, they can choose the gender. They can choose whatever they want. She's a billionaire. I feel like if she wanted to give birth to a little baby robot, she could. I mean, just saying. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a caller and see what she thinks about this whole Kanye Kim situation. And I have a few callers in the room. I'm going to start waiting and back to the Bravo news. Let's bring up Sarah Capmom. Hi. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry.
Good morning.
Old lady here. Technology and mornings are not my thing.
Oh, I mean, listen, waking up in the morning is kind of like, I feel like that Gia Judai song, waking up in the morning, thinking about so many things. Okay.
Yeah.
So
add Monday to it. And yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, no, I don't have any children, but I'm a little bit torn because this is the world that North is in. I mean, she sees her parents, her aunts, everybody on social media and manipulating it quite well. I mean, if you think about where Kim and them started, they have a massive following. And
Right.
So there's a line that I think they're going to have to figure out. What can they insulate her from? What do they need to educate her on? And what do they allow her to do and see? And I think some of that's going to depend on how mature she is as a kid. But I mean, it's also, like you said, I mean, you have a smaller platform. North is going to be on, millions of people are going to follow her.
Right.
It's not the same as if I had a kid and, it was just a few, cousins or whatever. So I think that I agree with the comment. I think it's dangerous because you start to identify what is considered attractive, what is the norm, those kinds of things. But I guess I don't know how to protect kids from those kinds of things. Right. So if she does it at age 10 or age 12, I guess what is going to be the difference in some of those things? And like I said, if she's surrounded by all of it, I mean, I don't like the amount of filters that the Kardashians put on all of their stuff. I think that's going to be some harmful things to teach her. Like, you get your picture taken and then you adjust the hell out of it. But that's just my 2 cents.
I mean, honestly, too, and I feel like this when it comes to the TikTok thing, and this is why I wanted to ask people, because one day North is going to, I feel like I'm trying to look at it from both, like playing devil's advocate here. I can see where Kanye is like, my daughter's 8 years old. Yeah. I know how cruel social media can be. I don't want her on it. And then I feel like Kim is kind of looking at her kids like, let me start setting you up now. Let people get introduced to you. By the time you're 18, you're going to have your own set of millions of dollars. And it's going to be, let's start building your brand now. I feel like she's thinking with the Kris Jenner cap on, like we're building a business here. But also at the end of the day, she's never going to get these years back. She is a child. And at 8 years old, I remember I wasn't even allowed to play Grand Theft Auto. I remember my stepmom walked in and I was playing Grand Theft Auto and she like ripped the PlayStation out of the wall and she's like, "No, sir." And I was like, okay, I'll stay off of it. But, Sarah, good morning. And I appreciate you. And I'm so excited to meet you in LA.
Yes, I'm excited too. I am, and I have my New York tickets as well. So,
Hey.
and then, and then Tuesday, since, that's when Nashville goes on sale. I think, I'll be buying my tickets then. So I
Hey.
think I'll just basically quit work and just travel and,
No.
be like a Grateful Dead fan, following you around.
Listen, we appreciate you so much. And just to at least put your mind at ease, you're not going to be seeing the same show over and over. We have different guests at each one, different people opening for us, different people who are going to be playing around in the audience, and a lot of surprises. So Sarah, thank you. And I can't wait to meet you. We're going to have so much fun.
Yes, most definitely.
All right. Well, happy Monday to you. And, you can message me anytime.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
All right. So I'm going to bring up someone who I've met her daughter. I think her daughter says I scream too much. Or she said I don't pronounce the words well enough. I don't know. Philly Diva, she says something. She keeps me in check. I love it. I love when her little daughter comes on here. But I do want to know, would Philly Diva take Kanye's stance on this and say, no, I don't want my 8-year-old on TikTok? Or would she take Kim's stance and be like, well, she's going to be exposed to the world anyway. She already is. Between all of the members of the family, they have over 1 billion followers on social media, which is not a stretch. I mean, if you look at Kim's social media, she's at almost 300 million. Kylie is over 300 million. And that's just Instagram, just for both of them. And if you think about Chris, Courtney, Chloe, you start adding everybody up, Kanye, it's ridiculous. So let's ask Philly Diva, what does she think? Are we building a brand? Or do we let our kid be a kid as long as possible? Here we go. Hi, Philly Diva. Good morning.
Hi, everybody. So unpopular opinion. Some of you have been on here.
I think. Sorry.
Is this better?
Oh, yeah, that's better.
Okay. Thank Madison for her microphone. I have to use it in my meetings too. So unpopular opinion. I actually agree with Kim because there's a difference between my 7-year-old clearly in Northwest.
Right.
My 7-year-old is not a trendsetter. I am also very aware of her TikTok, and we set rules and boundaries.
Oh, so your 7-year-old has a TikTok?
She has a TikTok. Madison has a TikTok. Madison has a TikTok, and she is quite aware that she is not allowed to post anything until I see it. Nothing goes up without my review. She has private settings, so literally she has no one following her. It is the act of having a TikTok. It's that instant gratification of I don't want to be left out. The rest of my friends have it.
Right.
So I have very, very strict rules when it comes to her in social media because I don't want to ruin her innocence.
Right.
So I don't tell her all of the things that are on social media, but she knows about the white van, so to speak. She understands that there are wolves in this world.
Right.
And she understands that they can be hiding on social media, which is why mommy is very, very careful about allowing you on there, what you're allowed to do on there. I'm very particular, very careful about her social media. So I absolutely agree with Kanye. He's completely right.
I was thinking, sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, Philly Diva. I was thinking about North, being on social media and how it could impact her by seeing what she thinks is the perfect person or how the perfect, whatever, that kind of influence. But I totally forgot there's still a ton of predators who are watching.
I am absolutely more so concerned with the predators than anything else. As far as Northwest having that idealization of what is perfect, at that age, it can go one of two ways. They can be, very, I want to do this, I have to look this way, filter, which is what she sees in her eyes, except for Courtney. Right. However, she also checks her mom, which...
She does check the hell out of her mom.
She keeps Kim humble in a way that we, the viewing public, rarely get to see. And just the FYI, I'm sure the rest of the parents, if there are any parents in the chat, you guys can understand that your children will keep you humble. My daughter told me last week, I need to dye my wig gray because I have gray hair.
Well, she told me I have to pronounce better. So your daughter's just giving it out to all of us. It's okay.
And you know, it's what children,
they're innocent.
It's what children do. And we have to protect not only that innocence and that, you know, that ability to say things, because you want them to say things without filter. That's right. How, you know, partly how we keep them safe. But at the same time, there are so many things on the internet that we as parents and we as adults cannot control. So I'm very, very cognizant about her going on my social media, because I keep that. Baby, mommy's timeline is not for children. Like, it's gray sweatpants season, sweetie. Mommy's timeline is not for children. So,
I mean, I agree with you on this one. This is a hard one.
So I absolutely agree with what Kanye is saying about protecting his children. And as a father, that's what we want. Like, say whatever you want about Kanye's mental issues. At the end of the day, he still is trying to be a present, caring, and protective father.
Which you can't take that from him. And that's true. That's true. Philly Diva, thank you for calling in. And I wanted to hear your opinion because I know that you have your daughter. And obviously, I just have Jason. So it's nothing close to an 8. Well, maybe it is close to an 8-year-old. I don't know. Philly Diva, we love you. Thank you. And happy Monday. And tell your daughter.
Happy Monday to you guys, too. Everybody enjoy.
All right. Bye, Philly Diva. All right. Before we move on, because we have some ridiculous stuff to talk about, I'm going to bring up one more caller on this subject, and then I see other callers in the room. I see Gabriella, I see Krista Marie, I see Georgia Carolina, I see Matt, I see Tim, I see Kara, I see everybody. So I'm going to start bringing everybody up. I'm going to bring up one last caller who keeps saying, tap me in on this subject, sir. I see you. Okay. I see you. I'm going to bring you up now. Hi, good morning.
You are not okay. Good morning.
It's morning. What do you mean?
Good morning.
I have to get some energy this morning.
I am with you. I wish that all of my vitriol was from espressos and not just sheer rage. But good morning.
Wait, Jordan, when you comment on this TikTok thing too, I also want to ask you if you believe Kanye when he said that Kim is accusing him of putting a hit on her. Do you believe this, or is it to try to get a reaction from everyone?
Okay, so there's a couple ways that can go. But I really want to talk about the kid thing first because I have a daughter that's this age. Like my daughter is 7. So listen, I understand the whole business thing, but these children have all the time in the world to create businesses, build their brands, do the things of the things. There's ways to get around everything. My daughter is not even allowed on regular YouTube. She's only allowed on YouTube Kids. Like, no, sweetheart. We are developing child's mental states. We are not developing child's brands. And if you are, you should not have the child running their own social medias. I can understand because your children are who they are and they're your children. I can understand you securing the names, doing all of those things, having the accounts in their name so that won't nobody take their name. You who can build the brand that way. But I'm not for having your child running their own social media.
And to be
I'm
fair,
just not for that.
I want to add 2 things to this. Like, I feel like if you wanted to, I could look at it from Kim's side too, wanting to, I feel like Kim in her mind is like, by the time my daughter's 18, almost like Kylie, I want her to be set for life.
And she will be.
And she
but she shouldn't have access to that account at 8 being on TikTok. Like, for the reasons that Philly Diva mentioned, for just
Predator.
Because of her being who she is, people are just going to come and bully her just because she's Kim Kardashian's daughter. She could literally be duetting Giudice, waking up in the morning thinking about so many things, and people would read her just because she's Kim Kardashian's daughter. It's unnecessary.
And, I was going to say too, there's ways like Candy Burris has her kids, her youngest son, Ace, and her son has like 3 companies at this point, little baby toys and stuff like that. But Ace is not out here on social media, but she's still building.
That's what I was saying. Like, you can build the brand in the child's name without actually having them on social media, running the account and like doing the things of the things. Because North is incredibly intelligent. Like, she is out here reading Kim the house down boots. I'm sure she's out here reading the comments. Like, she knows how to go live and do all of those things. Like, at this time, like at this point, we need to more so be focusing on her mental state and making sure that she is in the best conditions possible, all of the children, so that when they are actually stepping into this for real, they are so mentally stable, so mentally capable, so mentally ready that nearly nothing can shake them because they have the media training of all media training from the Kardashians. Like,
and I wanted to say too, you know, to Kanye's point, Kim put out there and she said, I feel like it's okay for North to have this platform where she can be creative as long as it's supervised under me. But I don't know if people remember at one point, by the way, guys, over 300 in the room, smash that like button. But at one point, you know, North walked into Kim's room and showed us Kim laying in her bed. And she said, look, Mom, I'm on live. And Kim was like, no, North,
See, that's where it goes too far. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you like are with her doing the TikToks, y'all do the 8 count on the 1, 2, and the account is on your phone, but you're posting it to her account. That's one thing. Right. But she should not have her own phone and be able to just walk in on you on live. Who knows what Kim could have been doing? Like, North could have turned into Sutton real quick.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so now real quick before we move on to thinking about so many things, because I have some questions.
It's so iconic. Why is she not a friend of? She should be an official friend of. Like, we need to have a conversation about it, Adam.
I feel like Gia would be like, I know I wouldn't get along with Gia only because she's so snippy sometimes. But on it, like, I try to look at it and I'm like, well,
she's her mother's daughter.
And look at everything that she's been through. But then you think about little Gia from like being a little girl, and she was also very coddled by Teresa before everything happened. And she was snippy when she was a little girl. She's always had like that little sass to her. So I don't know about Gia Giudice, but she is beautiful. But getting back to it before we move on, I wanted to ask you, do you believe Kanye's accusations that Kim is accusing him of hiring a hitman? Do you think that this is true?
No, because I've literally watched his Twitter rants live. Like, I've seen him rant on Twitter in real time before, and then I've seen him 6 hours later delete all of those tweets and then be like, you know, da 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 da. Like with the whole Chris John that tweet. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, so I don't want to, you know, but when he compared Chris to that person, like, I was like, wait a minute, and then came back the next day and was like, oh, she's an amazing grandmother, she's never been anything but nice to me. Like this is where listening to Kanye goes too far, because while he does make an excellent point as a father, there's always a level of extremism to Kanye. And then I can also kind of relate that back to Kim, because I think they're also going through a divorce. Like all of this is going to come up at some point. There's going to be child custody involved. Like, there's going to be all of the things that are going to be happening when it comes to their divorce and like separating these 4 children and all of that. So like, while I do believe, like, I don't think that she would want to kill the man, but I do think that she would want to keep him in line. So I do think that she's probably building a case.
Well, no, she's accusing him of putting a hit out on her.
What?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. She has not said that publicly. He's saying, my wife, Kim, is accusing me of putting a hit out on her.
I don't believe that, though. Well, I mean, that sounds more believable. I will say that sounds more believable. Right. That sounds more believable. But
I feel like she lives in Fort Knox. Like, who's going to get past the security in that place?
Like, I feel like I feel like the Kardashians bought Area 51. Right. And like I feel like they all have beach houses on like private islands, and like they do this stuff for fun. Like, I don't think like especially after this whole Paris robbery thing, Kim took her security game to a whole other level. Like, she be having snipers in trees and stuff.
Yeah, and I do want to add to, you know, when you're dealing with people who have sometimes like who deal with
allegedly
mental health, right? When you're dealing with people who are kind of struggling with their mental health, sometimes you don't know what they're capable of. I mean, going back to it, my mom had a guy who was obsessed with her, and I don't want to get too much into this, but the man was like really obsessed with her. And she worked around the man for a second, was never like entertaining the idea of a relationship. And this man eventually showed up to our house because he couldn't take it anymore with a fully loaded weapon and waited for all of us to take us all out. And we weren't home for a couple of days. He sat in the parking lot and finally took his own life. Like, really, mental health is kind of scary.
It's a very scary thing. And I will say, like, I'm not gonna sit here and make mental health malicious. Like, a person's perception when they're going through that is very skewed because it's very influenced by everything that they have going on up there. Right. So you almost like, you can hold someone accountable for those actions, but you also have to take into account the state that person could be in. Is Kanye on his meds right now?
All right. Well,
he has a history of going on and off. Like, that's not me being shady. That's not me being funny.
No,
I'm being dead serious. Like, is he regulated right now? Is he like taking care of himself the way that he needs to mentally right now? Right. Like, I'm just saying, like, the state of a person's mental health in the condition of them having a mental illness. Like, how is their health being set up while they have a mental illness? Sorry if I didn't clarify that, Lisa. No, but
that was actually me who said mental health instead of mental illness. So I apologize, Lisa.
But like, I just like that all plays a factor, because this could be true because he's not regulated right now. But I don't think that, one, she would accuse him of that, and two, that he genuinely believes that. Like, we have to take it, like, we have to we need to talk to Kanye's doctors. This is who we need to that's who we need to get on the phone. Well, one or two Kim needs to get on the phone. That's who Kim needs to get on the phone, is Kanye's doctor. She's not trying to find a hitman. She's trying to find his doctor right now.
Right. No, I agree. Jordan, if you don't mind, stick around. I'm going to drop you down and bring you back up. I have a video to play, and I definitely need your opinion. Krista's, Gabriella's, everybody else in the room. I need your opinions on this one. I'm going to take it back to Bravo for a second. I'll see you.
Sweet. All right, babe.
All right, guys, almost 400 people in the room. Good morning. We're only 30 minutes in, and we have a lot to cover still. I have to talk about this because, well, I've got my girl Krista in the room. She's representing New Jersey. New Jersey came back this past week. Zach and I will be covering it every week. And like I said before, we will be dropping little hints as to what we have coming your way for our little tour along the way. So he wants to do it on Tuesdays. And I'm one of those people, normally I don't overcommit and underdeliver. I'm always keeping my appointments and my times. And like, I'm super finicky about that. But I was like, Zach, let's do it at 12 p.m., my time, 9 p.m. your time. And then I'm thinking, there's no way at 12 p.m. Like, I wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I can't do that. No, we have to do it on Wednesdays. But I do want to talk about a couple red flags because there's some stuff throwing me off a little bit. Let's just bring this up and then we'll get to it. And I also have to talk about Gia Giudice too, because we'll get to it. Hold on. Here we go.
Bring our family together and finally get married and have a life together. I've been here for a week. These are my brothers. These are my bond. These are my brothers. This is my coach, Kevin. These are guys that are very unfamiliar in my life. I love you, and I love our family together. I love our children.
Where the hell are you?
And I hope you receive this message well. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for your time. I hope that this hits your heart well and you understand where I'm coming from. And I hope to come home to you and be able to have a chance and opportunity to talk to you and share with you my experience in my life.
Okay. First of all, I thought this was creepy as hell, but then I found out that this is some warrior boot camp for grown men who have it all. They have the money, but they don't know how to navigate their family life and their social settings and appreciate what they have in front of them. So it's probably some douchey older man who is like, listen, I have an opulent lifestyle. I have millions of dollars. I have my beautiful wife at home, but I can cheat on her because guess what? I have the money. And then you go to this boot camp and they're like, no, don't be an asshole. Just because you have money doesn't mean that your whole life is great. You need to get it in check and appreciate the people who are there for you. I don't know. If I ever go all the way left and shit just gets crazy up here for me, I don't think I'm going to be signing up for a warrior boot camp with a bunch of naked. Actually, I didn't think about it. No, I'm just kidding, Jason. Jason's watching. Okay, let me go ahead and bring this up. I know that we got the red flags with Teresa Giudice's new relationship, Louis Ruelas, at episode 1 of season 12. And on episode 1 of season 12, after it at least, Teresa went on Watch What Happens Live, and Gia Giudice was the bartender. Now, Louis Ruelas, Gia's boyfriend, they were in the audience, and Andy Cohen had a great question for Teresa. Will you be signing a prenup? And she's like, no, why would I sign a prenup? And we're like, excuse me? Why would you sign a prenup? Well, let's ask somebody who knows what they're talking about. Hold on. Bethany Frankel. Point in case. A 9-year divorce where she literally came out of pocket at the end of this divorce. She met this man. He's never seen $1 million in his lifetime. She was building a brand before this guy ever came into the picture. Then he started kind of helping her a little bit. But if you guys ever watched Bethany's spinoff show, Bethany Ever After, you would see where he was really struggling with the fact that she was so successful and he wanted to be a part of it in some capacity. And he kept on saying, I feel like you make me feel inferior. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've worked my ass off. I don't think this is a me, Bethany problem. That's a you being insecure problem. And once they decided to eventually get a divorce, because there was obviously a power struggle here, he said to the judge, this is why it took over 9 years. We had this life built together. I was there. I was in on the conversations. She didn't have this money before we got married. She signed this $100 million deal with Jim Beam after we got married. I deserve half. He didn't get half, but he got a pretty penny out of it. And again, I think it was somewhere to the effect with the legal fees and everything. It was between $25 and $30 million for somebody who has never seen $1 million in his life. That's why you should get a prenup. But for Teresa, I think she thinks otherwise. Where are you, Teresa? Hold on. Let me bring her up really quick. I don't know, guys. I don't know. This guy gives me the creeps too on the show. He gives me the heebie-jeebie vibes. And when Andy Cohen was asking Teresa about a potential prenup, and she's like sitting there brushing it off like, no, I don't want a prenup. He looked at Gia and he said, Gia, what do you think? And here's Gia. She's looking cute and whatnot, waking up in the morning, thinking about so many things. She says, why would she sign a prenup? And Andy looks at her like, okay, girl, I know you're taking shot skis with us at this point. You just hit 21. Let me school you on something. He's like, you know what? I'm going to leave this girl alone. Why would she sign a prenup? Well, so she can protect her money. And then Gia said, well, my dad made my mom sign a prenup, and that always pissed me off. And what? Who gives a about your day? They had nothing back then. Now your mom has been to jail. She almost lost everything. She came back out. She's on top. She paid her restitution. She's worth over $5 million. Who knows what Louis is worth? But why not sign a prenup? And this is why I want to bring up callers, and I want to hear your opinions on this. Why would you not sign a prenup? Because at the end of the day, I mean, if I got married, I don't, like Jason and I don't have anything. I feel like I would want to sign a prenup, and I'd want him to sign a prenup when we get married, because I would want us to be able to walk away with what we are bringing in and making and not have to fight over it. My parents have been divorced a couple of times, and I've seen where my dad has gotten so upset. He's like, I don't want to fight with this woman. You can have the house, the car, you can have whatever we have. I will restart over. And he's done that at least 2 or 3 times. And I never understood it. I'm like, Dad, you work your ass off. My dad works over 90 to 100 hours a week. I mean, probably the hardest working man I've ever met in my life. And he doesn't have an easy job. I don't want to say what his job is, but he is always working with his hand. He's like a guy's guy. So when I see people who look at prenups like, oh, well, you're kind of going into this marriage like, you know, it's already doomed from the beginning. I don't think of it like that. And I know that's kind of the perception sometimes, but I look at it like, no, if it doesn't work, at least you get a clean break. And if it does work, then you guys have all this money that you share. But again, I don't want to just give you my opinion. Let's bring up some callers. Shan, I know that you're at work and hi, good morning.
Hi. Yes, I'm at work, but you know, you're my treat of the day, right?
Oh, okay. Good morning.
Okay, good morning.
Okay, so do you have an
Teresa.
opinion on this prenup situation?
Teresa loves to do everything the hard way. She cannot listen to anybody. She can't get out of her own way. Bless her heart. No?
And no, I agree with you, especially when you have women from his past, 2 different women who have tried to bring him to court for allegedly punishing them if they don't perform certain physical intimacy acts enough. Like is that not a red flag?
Okay, not necessarily, because maybe Teresa's into that kind of relationship without me getting you flagged.
No. You're not getting me flagged. That's okay. But
Dom and sub. Maybe they're into dom and subbing.
Maybe, but then, and we saw Teresa before, you know, she got her Vicky Gumbelson love tank full all again, and she was like, you know, I just want to get laid in my pineapple, and it's juicy, and she was talking about all of this stuff. So maybe if he's really into it like that, and it's 3-4 times a day, that might be something that that's their own personal situation. Right? But still, when women are, I feel like if one person comes forward and they try to sue you, you never know what's going on. Is that somebody who's bitter? Is it like, what's the case? But then when you have 2 who are coming forward trying to sue you for the same thing and saying that you're locking them out of the house, that you're kicking them out, you're leaving them on the side of the road, you're taking their belongings because they're not performing the way that you want them to, that feels like a red flag.
To us, absolutely. But we've seen Teresa for 12 seasons? She doesn't hear anybody. She's got tunnel vision for her man. And clearly she hasn't learned.
This is loyalty like no other.
Right? You got to give her that. I don't want that kind of undying loyalty from anyone, but wow, you got to give her that Lucky Louie. But I was more surprised at Gina. Now I'm taking us to another franchise. Gia's reaction to it. Yes. I was like, girl, what?
Look at the fun buns.
The fun buns. I just saw Spice World.
Yes.
Oh my God, I almost started singing again.
That's exactly what I saw. You know, but for Gia, I was surprised too, because you would think her looking at it, she's seen her mom go through so much. Like if that were my mom, I was the meanest, let me say, when it came to my mom and my stepdad's. My stepdad now is amazing, but my other one was such a narcissist. He's not alive anymore. He passed away, but he was Mom, if you're in the room, I'm sorry. He was such an ass. And he was so like controlling. And when he would be, I remember I was just like, I was a little shit. I was always like, get away from my mom, and just super protective over her. And when he would yell at her about spending money, I'm like, you shut your mouth at like 7 years old. Like, you shut up. My mom works too. Like, I was just mean, but I love my mom, and I would hate the way that I would see him treat her. And for Gia, she's seen her mom go through so much. I'm surprised that this is her reaction, and she wouldn't think in a different way in order to protect her mom in case this didn't work out. Because it was Gia who literally said on the first episode of New Jersey this season, Mom, you've only known this man for a year. Like, you still are learning things every day. So this is kind of a contradiction.
No. I just figured it out because I thought the same thing. No. She's being her mom. She's that undyingly loyal in front of people. Who knows what she is behind doors? Maybe, you know, in public, she has to do that undying loyalty because that's what is expected.
I didn't even think of it like that. So she might have her own reservations, but she's like, I've been around long enough. I know they're going to take snippets, and it's going to be like, I'm against my mom. But since we're in front of the cameras right now, I'm going to support my mom.
Maybe, because it just came to my head as you were explaining that. I'm like, hold on a second. Because she is a smart girl, and we've seen her be. Mind you, this whole anger with Joe Gorga also doesn't really fit the narrative to me either. But anywho,
right. Okay, and then one last question for you: when it comes to Louis' Warrior Camp video, if you had, let's say, because we know that you're a mom, okay, and you have your ex, and this is. I don't mean to get any personal.
I don't care. It's fine. It's fine.
But what if, before when you were trying to figure out, am I going to stay or am I going to go? Which, guys, we all have exes, okay? Just to be fair. And we've all been through some shit. So what if, though, this is for the live chat too, you had someone who you decided, you know what, it's coming to an end. We've tried it. And then that man says, you know what, I'm going to go to this adult warrior boot camp with a bunch of other naked men. And we're going to record a video telling you how we changed and we went through it and we've done the work. And I'm going to make you the happiest wife. And would you be creeped out by it? Or would you be like, yes, I'm here for this like little men brothel looking boot camp?
I'd say, hey, honey, where was my invite to the naked beach party?
If Jason sent me a video like that from a warrior boot camp, I'm like, no, bitch, you're not coming home. That is not happening. I don't know.
No, I was just, I couldn't even process the apology because I'd be like, who's that one? Oh, and who's he? And
yeah,
you have his number.
I'm like, okay, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it is definitely weird. I mean, I made it until this morning, till just now, without seeing that video. I thought I had made it alive out of the Louis cesspool. Sorry.
No. And the video was cut off because at one point you hear the instructor who did an interview, I believe it was with Us Weekly, but at one point at the end of the video, which it wasn't in this version of it, you see where the instructor's like, and why are you sorry? And he's like, because I'm sorry. And he's, but why? Get to the root of it. And he's like, I don't know. I'm sorry because and I'm like, I feel like this is like one of those, it almost reminds me of that school that Paris Hilton went to, Provo, where they like break you down. And I feel like they're trying to like break you down in order. I don't know what this is. I don't know. I'm never going to a warrior boot camp ever.
I just want to be a spectator at one. But wait, how much did he pay, I wonder?
Probably a lot because that's some weird rich man shit. I mean, go meditate.
So go meditate. Yeah, do you have any clues as to why Louis is so red all the time? Have you noticed that he's very red? Like
could just
blood pressure? Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe I feel like it could be his skin tone too, because he's a very tan guy. And I know in Jersey, like in Krista, I'm going to bring Krista up next. I feel like in Jersey, we know it's GTL, right? They tan a lot. Everyone's tanning. And I think even when I went to Los Angeles, we have a pool here and I've never used the pool. I still don't use the pool and I hate tanning, but I get tan really fast. And I would go outside and I would just, like lay out in the sun and just put sunscreen on and I was trying to get tan for our trip because I love when I'm tan and my face gets so red. And even in the Heather McDonald interview, I look like I fell asleep out by the beach. And like, I just got so tan. My face was like so bright red. And Jason even said before we left, he's like, your face, like you have like Santa Claus rosy red cheeks right now. And you're so tan. I was like, I know, right? Isn't it great?
Well, her lighting was really good because I didn't notice a flush. You just
Hey, thank you, Shan. Thank
welcome.
you. And
you're welcome.
I know you're at work, so I'm going to let you go, but thank you for calling in and thank you for waking up with us.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
Bye, Shan. All right, guys, we have almost 500 people in the room. Don't forget to smash that like button. Before I bring up Krista, I do want to acknowledge this really quick because I was on Heather McDonald's show. Heather McDonald Jason was the one who told me about this. I didn't know until I knew the night of, but I didn't know to the extent what happened. Apparently she was doing stand-up and she was on stage and she fainted. People were saying it was because of the C word, C-19, the pandemic. You can't say that on here because you get flagged. And she was saying it was because she was dehydrated, but I guess she hit her head and now they're saying that she fractured her skull, which is absolutely devastating. When I was there, from start to finish going on her show, she was so sweet to me when I walked in the room. At first I was like, I don't know if I didn't know if she was going to like me. I didn't know if she liked me at all. And she was just kind of like, when I walked in, she was eating her sandwich and she was getting ready for the show. Her husband was there. Her assistant was there. They were setting up everything. And then once we started talking, it took about 10, 15 minutes and I got her to crack a smile and laugh. And I was like, oh, I got you. I got you. Okay, we're going to be friends. All right. But no, all kidding aside, though, I am sending her all the best because I saw some really hateful, mean comments on social media from people that maybe she's made jokes about in the past. And she is a comedian. So sometimes comedians do, make jokes and they say things that it's for an effect and to get a laugh out of it. And people take it very seriously, especially, right now, you really have to be careful with people because social medias mean mental health, mental illness. We talked about this and a lot of people really take in what you're saying and they feel like it's an attack. So I saw where some people were like, Heather, you deserve that. And that's absolutely disgusting. You can't say that about people. She's still a mom. She's still a wife. So let's just all send her positive vibes and love. I'm going to bring up Krista because I need Krista to chime in on some Jersey. Let's go. Hi, Krista.
Hey.
It's been so long.
I know. I missed you guys. I was like,
you look so pretty. Your hair looks amazing.
Oh, thanks. It's a different color every week. Never the same color ever.
That's okay. I have a different personality every week.
I have a different personality every time I wake up. It's like, no, it's like literally a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get. So take a bite. It might be caramel, but it might be nuts. You never know.
I'm stealing that one. All right.
Seriously,
so
right?
I have to pick your brain on this one, Krista, because with Jersey, we love Jersey, but this whole Teresa Giudice and the prenup situation, it comes off like a huge red flag, at least to me. But I've also seen some people who are like, no, I don't think that's a red flag at all. She's just showing her man her loyalty. No. She should sign a prenup. Yes. What is your take on this?
First of all, people need to get prenup as a bad thing out of their heads because first of all, if somebody wants you to sign a prenup, obviously people are trying to say you're going to go after this woman's money. First of all, he's not obsessed with her money. He's obsessed with her. He's not going to take her money. He's obsessed with her. So, but she should still get one because I feel like he would vindictively go after her just like her ex-husband did. She definitely needs a prenup, but people need to get out of their head that it's a bad thing because all it is, it can protect both parties. Now, honestly, I'm a walking red flag. My husband had no business marrying me, moving me in the first 6 months. I should have had 6 months clean. I should have proved to myself before he did. Now, 8 years later, he made the right choice because he just made me want to be a better person. I just kept moving up from there. But you also if he would have wanted me to sign a prenup, I would have signed a prenup and I would have been, hell yeah, I need to sign one. Look at my history. Look at me and my dad just got out of I've paid back the government. I still owe the government money. But I'm a walking red flag. I should have signed a prenup if he would have asked me to, but he didn't. And but it's not a bad thing.
He's obsessed with her. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just thought about it in my head to your point. Yeah. He's obsessed with her, but we all know, and I'm waiting for Georgia, Carolina, the face down in the bottom. I'm going to get some eyes on this one, but we all know when you're in a relationship, it's great when it's great, but then once you start moving to that, you know what, it was good for a moment. We're moving in different directions. Things are changing. Then I feel like people start getting very vindictive because you start walking around the house and you're like, that's my couch. And you're like, no, bitch, you didn't even want that couch. That's my couch. Well, then that's my car. No, that car was in my name. Well, you bought it for me. No, I didn't. Well, that's how I remember it. And then you start kind of getting this skewed idea of what's mine, what's yours. And it's really hard to kind of decipher and very easy to fight over.
And it protects both parties. It can protect him and her. It can sit there and say, look, they can both agree on the terms. It doesn't have to be, it could be, oh, you take what you have and I take what I have, what I came into a relationship, and whatever we bought together, we split up. It could be just as simple as that. That's not saying that one person is bad and one person is good. And like I said, if you are being questioned about a prenup, wouldn't you want to sign it more just to prove your point that you are not after this person's money? Just sign the damn thing. I think if you say no, it's even more of a red flag to me.
Right.
Because it's the harm.
I've said this to, when I met Jason came out of a very, very successful Cirque du Soleil career and had his own situation. And I remember I've always kind of had the stance I love you. I want to be with you forever. I don't know if I want to get married because my family's history with marriage. And it just scares me. I feel like that paper changes everything, but you're my best friend for life. And if Jason said to me, and I was kind of the opposite. Like, I want to marry you tomorrow. If Jason said to me, you're signing a prenup because I've worked my ass off since I was a kid for my whole career, I would be like, I'm not here to take I'll sign whatever I don't care.
Right. Exactly. And I think too, like, they've been together, it's probably almost going on 2 years now, Louis and Teresa. Right. It was a year when they filmed it. So, okay, now it's going to be June again almost. It's going to be almost 2 years. If you go back to how they met, it's a little sus. He was stalking her a little bit. But like I said, it's literally not to protect either or. And Gia needs to stay out of grown folks' business because she obviously is clueless, because it doesn't make any sense for for him not to sign one. So what are you talking about? Your dad is who he is. Joey Gorga does not need to take back what he said. Your uncle does not need to take that back. Just agree to disagree and move on. Don't make the man take it back to earn your love and your respect back. She gets on my nerves. She's a little bitch. I can't. I just can't with her. I saw that. I was like, what do you say? What do you mean? Like, I thought she would have said, Mom, you're nuts. Make him sign a prenup. That would have been having your mom's back.
But do you think, though? Wait, I'm curious.
She's not going to make her man. She going to make her man sign one? I guarantee you she does.
Well, I want to ask you, though, because you were down in the call chat, and I see Jordan saying, tag me, and I'm about to tag you in on this one. You were down in the call chat when Shan made a good point.
Yeah.
Do you think Gia could have just been saying that because she wanted to look like she was on her mom's side in the moment, but really she has her own private conversations in the background?
I mean, if you think about it that deeply, I mean, honestly, no. I just think that I think that she's immature and she doesn't know what she's talking about. I think in her head, she was having her mom's back, but she really isn't. Like, right. You're 21. So are you an adult or are you not, Gia? Like, you got to make up your mind when you want our opinion and when you don't. Because she doesn't like when we give her opinion on what she says or does. But then she's like, I'm a child. No, you're not. You're 21 now. You're literally giving yourself this platform. So stand by what you said. And I'm literally, it just irks me that she thinks that Joey Gorga needs to take back what he said. Because the truth is, he is a piece of crap. He did put your mom in prison. And Joe Gorga is speaking the truth because they've all admitted to this fact. So why should he have to take it back? I agree. Maybe he shouldn't say it on television, but that's the nature of the beast. You're on a reality television. She put him in prison on television. So, or he put her in prison on television. So let's be real, Gia. Get a grip.
Carolina is like, tag me in on this one. Let's see. I know there's an opinion here. Hold on. Jordan, before you go, real quick. Who said, Kate, I noticed many of the housewives treat their kids like friends and don't parent. I think honestly think that's not just housewives. I feel like that's real life. Because my parents were divorced, I would always, like, when I was at my dad's house, it was strict rules. This is what it is. And then I would see my mom a little bit less. So when I would go over there, she was still my mom. And if I would do something wrong, she would check the hell out of me. But she was always my best friend from the start. Like, she was like, Adam, do you want to do this today? Why don't we go to a water park? Or you want to go shopping? You want me to go buy you People magazine at 7 years old so you can read up on what Paris Hilton's wearing? But I don't think you're gay, Mom. Yes.
We are more alike than we think.
He is a part of the family then. He can speak because he's part of the family. Now, I can sit there and say the same thing about look, I guess because my parents were always honest about who they are and what they did, I just had, I had no choice but to see what it was. So I was always like, yeah, my dad's a piece of crap. Yeah, my stepdad's this or he's that. I know. Like, but I'm not going to sit there and deny that. Like, it's undeniable. It's undefensible. Is that the right word? I'm from Jersey. Whatever the word is, it's not defensible.
You're giving us the Teresa isms. Georgia,
I am.
What is your thought about the prenup?
Yeah.
I think Gia need to go sit her ass down because grown folks is in here talking. And baby, listen, I don't understand. Like, I can't get behind the blind loyalty thing because you're literally on camera saying that, Mom, chill out. You've only known him a year. Mm-hmm. So how does that apply to like some random stuff, but not applying to the money that she's amounted, especially after how she had to come into that money? Like, she had to rebuild her money after she dug your father out of like with the specific complexities of their relationship with Teresa and her father. You would think the first thing she would be signing is I don't want you to sign a birthday card until you sign this prenup. I don't want you to sign a check at dinner. I don't want you to.
Well, and there was I don't know if you guys caught this, but there was a blind item, and sometimes they're on point and sometimes they're not. And Tea Talk with Shaw, I see you down there too. I'll bring you up. Sometimes they they make sense, and sometimes it's like from Dumois, and it's just they pulled it out of thin air. But the blind item said that there is an East Coast housewife. They were talking about the Real Housewives of New Jersey, who received a gift of a car as a present from their fiance, and she actually paid for it, put a bow on it, and said, "Look what he bought me," because she wanted it to look like he was, you know, gifting her with lavish stuff. But she's trying to put on a facade, and we've seen this before. Paris Hilton used to buy her own engagement rings. Like we've seen where women have before kind of they've been the breadwinners, they've bought their own gifts, and they're like, oh my gosh, look what he's doing for me. But it's to make the person look better, and like they're I guess contributing in some capacity.
It looks patronizing if you really think about it. It looks patronizing, like because my example, who I was gonna say, but I'm not gonna say that just because I have too much respect for that person. But like, it's like we know her husband is not like really out here making money like that. So like, how is it you have a $1 million wedding ring, but who bought that? Like,
what is Louis?
It's not my business, but
no, Louis a realtor. That's
what I'm saying. Like he's a realtor, right? So he does have his own money.
I think he's a real estate developer too.
So we also need to get out of that stereotype of just because the housewife gets a new boyfriend, he's either like a billionaire or he's broke. There's never any in between. Like he's either broke and he's using her for everything she's got, or she done hit a lick and now she got a sugar daddy. Like can't the man just work?
I know. And did I hear this correctly that, all right, looking back on the video, the people in the video, did they have something to do with another scandal that might be coming down?
Please don't show me this video, because I have actually skated by. Like Shannon, I was with you, Shorty. I still have not seen it. Like
maybe he's involved with the Jen Shah telemarketing. I don't know. There's some.
It's the fact that they're naked that makes all of this a problem.
Well,
all of this is a problem because they're naked. Why?
Did you see the show?
Hold on. Since the video's in question, and Jordan said that, you know, you want to see the video.
That is not at all what I said, but since you're bringing it up, it's your Ooh.
I'm trying to see who these people are now. Like, we got to
been here for a week. These are my brothers. These are my bond. These are my brothers. This is my coach, Kevin.
Everybody
These are guys that are very in my life. I love you, and I love our family together. I love our children, and I hope you receive this message well.
I think so.
Thank you. I love you.
He says family too. Did he have
kids?
Thank
you for your time.
Kids, right?
I hope that this hits your heart well and you understand where I'm coming from. And I hope to come home to you and be able to have a chance and opportunity to talk to you and share with you my experience in my life.
They look like they were just stranded on an island and like they've been on some castaway type shit.
Did you see?
It was looking real lost.
The third season of You, they have a retreat like this where they go there and they do the same thing almost. Okay, it's scripted television. I'm telling you, they do a retreat just like this. And like I'm looking at
now, seeing the video, it doesn't look as bad as the way that they described it on TV. The way they described it on TV, it looked like they was in the dead of night with like tiki torches and face paint, like chanting random like colloquialisms. Like they made it sound so much worse on TV. I will give you that. It doesn't look as bad. Seeing the video, I can give him a little bit of a pass because like literally just the fact that they were naked made it a problem for me. I was like, this doesn't sound as bad because we've seen this plot on like scripted TV shows of like people going to these like couples or retreat camps or like these men like going on these things to learn about like we've seen this happen before, but it was the naked part. I was like, now wait a minute now.
I feel like Randall's going to be on that. I'm looking at. For some reason, I have Randall's thing pulled up. I guess the thing you put up earlier. It's like stuck on my TV, and he's got the things on. I can just see Randall's going to be the next one in one of these things, crying for Lala's love back.
I don't want to see Randall. At least listen. No, I don't want to see.
I believe it.
I don't want to see Randall naked on there.
Oh, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But when you say it, it sounds very plausible.
It's Ronald Richards and Big Ed. I swear they look at all three of them.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Jordan, Krista, please stick around. I'm going to hit the next couple topics. I'm going to bring you back up with Tea Talk with Shaw. We have Sarah back in the room. Still have Gabriella. We have Tim. We have Matt. Guys, I'm going to bring everybody up and start rotating. I just want to hit these last two because I definitely need some opinions.
All right, babe.
All right. All right, guys, we have over 500 people in the room. Good morning. Don't forget to smash that like button. I have to talk about this. There are people who should be on reality TV, and there are people who should so clearly not be. Now, sometimes it's because they're unhinged and they're like, woohoo, and you're like, don't do this to your health. Don't put yourself out there like that. And then sometimes it's just because maybe you're not the most interesting. For this housewife, I'm going to go with not the most interesting. Now, we know that Teddi Mellencamp went on Celebrity Big Brother, and when she did, well, she was talking about how, she was loved on her show and how, she never thought that she would be kicked off because she honestly thought production and the fans loved her. I don't really know where she's coming from with all of these thoughts that she had. I don't know if it was her husband who hyped her up. And to be fair, Teddi seems like she's great at her job. She seems like an amazing mother, an amazing wife, a great friend, but that doesn't mean that you're necessarily the most interesting on reality TV. I can name a housewife from almost every franchise that would be like the Angie Harrington from Salt Lake City. Not interesting on Housewives, but you could see where she's amazing in all other facets. You have Robin Dixon. I don't think she's amazing on Housewives, okay? But then, like, we could go through every single franchise and I can pick apart and find one person who really doesn't seem like they should be on TV in any capacity. But I was not shocked that Teddi Mellencamp went on Celebrity Big Brother. I feel like that's what you do when you're trying to kind of still keep putting your name out there. You have a platform. Why not? And I wasn't shocked that she was the first one to get kicked off of Celebrity Big Brother, because at this point, this is like the nail in the coffin. But hold on, it keeps going. That's not the only former housewife who's been kicked off of reality TV who's trying to stay relevant. We have this one as well. Where are you? Oh, hey, Vicky Gunvalson. Vicky Gunvalson, if you guys remember, she had her fiance, Steve Lodge. Hi, Steve. Yeah, well, Steve was still sleeping in her bed after their breakup and allegedly had some random woman at their Puerto Vallarta condo in her bed. Now, is that true? We don't know, but what we do know is he's engaged to a much younger woman. Steve is pushing 60, or he just hit 60, and this woman is, I think, 37 or something like that. Her name is Janice. But the point is, he's moved on. He's moved on. Vicky Gunvalson ran into them at a restaurant. She chased them out of the restaurant. It's been a whole thing. And now she's like, I just want my love tank to be full. So she's hosting breakup parties at hustler clubs in Vegas. Honestly, Vicky, if this is what it looks like when you're single, I get it. I get it. Go on, Vicky. Go be single. And she's out there. She's having a good time. She's dancing around. She's hosting it. She's making her money. I'm not mad at her. But I'm just wondering, is she trying between Real Housewives, Ultimate Girls Trip, and making these appearances all over again, getting back into the dating world and Andy Cohen being so vocal about her? Is she trying to get back onto the show? Now, she said that the show is mindless and stupid at this point, but let's just chalk this up to what it is. Dorinda Medley said it best. When you're on the Housewives, you feel like you're in this kind of exclusive girls club, and it's awesome. You get to make appearances. People look at you like a celebrity. It has a super fandom that comes with it. It's almost like being like The Bachelor or something, but on steroids. I feel like for Vicky, after being the OG of the OC and being on the show for 14 years, she claims that she started this entire franchise, and all of the other housewives should be thankful for the groundwork that she has done, that it's even harder for her to let it go. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but okay. Now, before I bring up callers again, I do want to bring up one thing that I talked about it last night, only because she keeps coming out and debunking the rumors, and I'm not understanding. We thought we had a housewife from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City who decided to walk away from the franchise. And no, I'm not talking about Jenny Nguyen, who got fired. I'm talking about Mary Cosby. Now, Mary Cosby, we all know her, but Page Six keeps on reporting on her. And Page Six is a very reputable publication. Page Six said, just in, Mary Cosby exits Real Housewives of Salt Lake City after 2 seasons. Mary Cosby, she tweeted this just yesterday. This story is not true. This is a complete fabrication, a complete lie. I have not spoken to anyone. And then she also talked to, I believe it's CC Loves You on Instagram. And the person who runs the CC Loves You account reached out to Mary and said, hey, are you not coming back? Like, what's going on? And she's like, this isn't true, CC. And she's like, what's not true? Are you coming back? Or are you not coming back? And then I thought about it, and I asked a couple people who I know from Salt Lake City. I don't want to give up any names, but they said she most definitely won't be filming this season. But are they saying that so it doesn't get leaked out because Bravo has something? Because at the end of the day, they know I'm still on YouTube. I'm talking about it. What if I go out and I spill something that I'm not supposed to spill? That could obviously get them in trouble. So now I don't even know. It's giving me trust issues. Can I trust what you're telling me? Is she coming back? Are you lying to my face in order to protect your job, which I would understand? I don't know. And then you think about Kathy Hilton on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She went the first month and a half of filming without filming. And I'm sure they're going to edit her in. She's been on all of the recent cast trips since. She's been filming with the ladies. She's filming nonstop. Sure, she's only a friend of. But I'm trying to play devil's advocate in my head. Jen Shah and Heather Gay were seen filming outside of Mary Cosby's Faith Temple Church talking to her uncle. Why would they continue the conversation about Mary if they didn't have any plans to reintroduce Mary to the franchise and kind of bring her back? Let me bring up an opinion here.
Plot twist.
Hi, Teacher Awkward Straw. Hi, Larger Curves.
Hi, good morning. Up and out of the uppers.
Good morning. Good morning.
Plot twist. If they bring back Mary, I would be really shocked. Also, that they have those issues with bringing back someone who has made inappropriate comments after they fired Jenny.
Right.
So I don't know if
I got a lot of shit for this last night too, because everybody thought, because I was talking about, I have a hard time with Mary because I've learned over like the past 2 seasons to appreciate the kookiness that she brings to the show. And she has a lot going on. I mean, the cult allegations, the marrying the step grandfather, the fact that she doesn't give a shit. So if you try to come to her with some nonsense, she's going to check the hell out of you, which I live for. Right. But then also I was saying, I hate watching the comments like she looks inbred and she doesn't even know it. And she, like there are certain comments that's also not acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, that's her opinion too, though. Why isn't her opinion acceptable?
I mean, but what if Heather said that Mary looks inbred? That would be terrible.
It would be terrible in her opinion, though. I mean, like some of the stuff, the racist stuff is the racist stuff. 42 Facebook posts later, fired Jenny Wynn got fired.
Yes.
Yes. Mary Cosby misspeaks a lot. Her descriptions come out problematic. Her compliments come out problematic. But the intention behind them isn't that Black people are responsible for killing themselves. I mean, it's a whole different intention behind what she's saying.
Jenny definitely, that's a totally different topic because Jenny, I understand why she got fired for her. It made so much sense.
Yeah.
But for Mary, I don't think anyone, like that's what I was saying yesterday, is I don't think her comments call for her to be fired. I think that you're a grown adult. And like you said, you have opinions, but I also think sometimes like with and I think like you said, misspoke, comparing Jen Shah to Mexican Cartel and the slanty eyes comment and the inbred comment. I think you also have to be responsible with the platform because there are people, to be fair, when I lived in Tennessee, and I'm not going to say his name, there was a guy that I went to school with and it was in middle school. And I remember my dad took me from Florida, moved to Tennessee, and there was this kid, and I was kind of nervous because I've never seen anyone like this. And he had an ear up here and an ear down here, and his face, like it was kind of shifted around. And I found out in our small town in Tennessee, his mother was actually married to her brother.
Oh my God.
And he was a product of that. So when I think about that this actually exists, there are people out there who watch this, and even though it's an ignorant statement to make, there are some people who might see it, who might be in that position where it could really actually hurt their feelings.
Right. But I just think about Texas, Real Housewives of Texas, when Brandy made those comments about Asian people and people wanted her off the show. They wanted her off the show immediately. So I don't know if it's because Mary is also a minority that her comments seem to always get a little less than other housewives. Personally, I was really offended, not only by the I comment, but the Mexican thug comment. I was like, I'm good on her, like for me.
Right.
But so were either of you equally offended by Heather's, oh, you look like an Asian anime? I mean, where's all the smoke for everybody else? And I thought nobody really brought that up about Heather. Does Heather need to get kicked off?
No, but I don't think Mary Cosby needs to get kicked off. That's not, I think
they didn't kick Brandy off, but they did kind of, they put that little blurb, like we've spoken to Brandy and, we're going to work with her. But the thing about Bravo is there's no standard, right? So we don't know who should get kicked off, who should get fired, to what extent. They're literally just measuring the temperature of the audience. And as people get more and more pissed, they start firing people. There's no standard as to what's acceptable that you would keep your job and what's not acceptable that you would get fired. And that's what they need to figure out so that it's not up in the air. You know, what is too far, especially when it comes to race? It's such a hot button issue. What is too far, and what is Bravo going to do when the line is being crossed?
But with that aside, because we all know that on all of the franchises, and I'm going to bring up Travis Tinsley with us too. We know on all of the franchises that the women have said problematic. Like, we can go to every franchise and find somebody. Brandi Glanville and that ignorant comment when she said that when Joyce was a housewife, that she
didn't get her hair wet. Yeah,
and she couldn't get her hair wet. We've seen it on New York. Ramona was just under investigation. We've seen the ignorant comments before. With that aside, I'm saying here that I don't want Mary to be off the show because I don't know what the show would look like without Mary. But I'm wondering, is there something that could be concocted in the background where Mary might actually be in the works to come back? Before we answer it, though, let's bring up Travis Tinsley to chime in on this. Hi, Travis.
Hey, Travis.
Hi, Travis.
Can you hear us?
Mute.
We'll bring him right back up. Can you hear us? We'll bring Travis back up. No, so that was my question. As I understand that there's problematic things on all of these platforms, and I understand when you take it as far as Jenny Wynn, yes, get her off like that big show, 100%. But when it's things that, you know, like she can apologize for, and it's a silly statement to make. With that aside, Mary Cosby not showing up to the Salt Lake City reunion usually is the kiss of death for any housewife to not continue.
Wasn't there one other one that didn't show up and kept her job?
Lisa Vanderpump didn't show up, and then she never came back. Adrienne Maloof didn't show up, and she never came back.
Yeah, they usually don't come back.
I don't think there has been one that has not shown up that's been able to come back. But I feel like those were franchises that were already well established, right? And they could move on without these key characters. And I think Mary is a lot of the show. People watch to see what Mary's going to say next.
Well, that's because the other ladies don't have a storyline. Adam, can you tell me what Heather brought, what Whitney brought, what Lisa brought this season besides plot?
I live for this game. Yes, definitely.
Heather's storyline is that she's divorced.
Heather and Whitney, it's like two halves make a whole housewife, because they both come in and they're bad weather and they team up, and that's the dynamic. So they're giving me something. For Lisa Barlow, we're kind of trying to figure out at this point, is she as innocent as she's leading us on to believe? Or did you set up the caterer situation? Did you introduce Cameron on camera on purpose? Are you actually trying to have everybody turn against Meredith and give the wrong date? Are you trying to manipulate the storylines behind the scenes? So I can see what each one's bringing. It's not as much as Mary, so I'm having to dig for it and see the light in what their storylines are. But I do, honestly, this season, the only storyline I really didn't fully believe was the sister wife storyline of Jenny Wynn. That was the only storyline that I wasn't really believing.
She came in guns blazing with that one, trying to make us believe that.
But I could see the show. Well, I do think that Mary contributes a lot to the show, but I could see the show moving on without Mary, because the first season she was in the closet the whole season and they still found a way to keep it pushing. I mean, she was causing drama on her little FaceTimes, but she really didn't leave the closet until season 2, and they found a way to keep it going, and people still like the first season. But I mean, I think it's impending with Jen whether or not she's going to jail. So they're trying to kind of keep their eggs all in one basket until they find out what's going on with that. And then after Jen gets sentenced, they'll know a little more if they have holes to fill and, you know, what else is going on, because they're scrambling probably now to, cast potential friends of. If those friends of can step it up and become housewives, they might be covered. If not, because you can't just let people not show up to the reunion. That's the thing about Mary that I feel like even more than her comments is a Bravo no. Like, you don't show up to the reunion, that means, you're pretty much done. Like
exactly. And I think a good comparison is for people who like, we're not housewives on a reality show, but we all have jobs. And if you don't show up to your job and there's a meeting, a big meeting, or, like there's something happening that's important and it's vital to your position at that job, there are consequences for it. So it does make sense. I could see where Bravo would be very pissed. And Mary was vocal about this. She said, you guys were trying to paint me in so many different lights. And I feel like if I would have shown up to the reunion, you guys were all going to gang up on me and attack me. That's how she felt. And
well, that's what they did every episode. She's right. She's the smartest knife in the drawer.
Yeah.
Well, and who would want to show up to that? I wouldn't want to show up to that.
I think none of them. Lisa's not going to want to own up to the hot mic moment. Whitney's not going to want to own up to the things that she did when she like threw the rock and hit her hand when they went to their ski trip. So it's like everybody has things that Andy is going to put them on the hot seat about. But again, if you don't want to do it, that's part of being a housewife. And that's usually why when they skip the reunion, they leave the show because they've decided at that point already, I'm done with it. It's not worth it to me.
And to be fair, to piggyback off of what T-Talk, which Shaw is saying, when I interviewed Tamra Judge and we spoke about this, because it was right after that, the same day I interviewed her, the same day that I dropped the interview with Mary's parents, and Tamra said, I never wanted to go to a reunion. I would wake up some days and I would be so upset and shaken because I wanted to just quit that day. And I did not want to go be put in the hot seat because I knew when I threw the glass in Gina's face and I knew when I did certain things that I was going to have to answer for them. And then I think about Erica Girardi, and she sat in that seat and she let Andy grill her. She didn't give us a ton of answers, but she still sat there and she knew it was coming and she didn't know exactly what was coming. And then I think about Jen Shaw, who is going through this entire investigation and facing court and potential time. She can either go to jail or not. We don't know what's going to happen with her, but she still showed up too and sat in that seat. And I'm sure Andy grilled her about what was going on with that and asking her too about Coach Shaw and like who was really on the other side of that phone call when you were in the Sprinter van. I agree with Shaw. I think that everyone has something you don't want to talk about. Like Meredith doesn't want to talk about who she was hooking up with on the side when her and Seth weren't together, like they all.
And they're definitely going to bring that up because apparently it's the same guy as Jen. Oh my God.
I don't know.
I can't keep up with these storylines anymore. Some of them,
allegedly, I don't know. But if it's, they all have stuff they don't want to talk about. And I think that's the worst part. But I remember I've been watching it long enough to know before they had reunions, really, you wouldn't know until the next season, like how everything kind of shook out. So that was the point of the reunion. After we watched all the footage, after everything has gone down, what do you have to say for yourself? And, let us know what your perspective is on these situations. Months later, I was in a bad place or whatever, you also get a chance to give your side of the story too.
Well, they were talking about off-camera stuff with Mary. They were talking about so many things that had nothing to do with on camera. It was all gossip and innuendo. 16 letters of the alphabet came for Jen, and they don't want to talk about that. So yeah, she can go to the reunion because they don't want to talk about that. She knows she's protected. Whereas Mary, they've been talking about her for every episode, you guys. Every episode.
Denise Richards showed up to the reunion, Larja, though. And
Denise did. Denise did.
They ripped into her.
Erica. I think Andy went pretty hard on Erica.
They attacked Mary every episode. They did not attack Denise Richards every episode. And it's not a they for Denise. It was Lisa Rinna for Denise. And it wasn't a they on Erica. Sutton asked 3 questions to Erica. It wasn't a they for all the other people that you're saying showed up. They literally attacked Mary with off-camera gossip every episode this season in Salt Lake City because they had no storylines of their own. Spending all the savings to rename a thing, that's not a storyline. We're not even going to see nothing from Heather's life until the finale next week when she goes out to the park with her people because she spent all the time around the fire plotting on Mary.
Okay. I mean, listen, I love taking the different opinions out of this too, because I try to play devil's advocate all the way across the board and try to understand where everybody's coming from. And, it is sometimes cringy to see the conversations, but again, I feel bad in certain situations. And then I look at Mary and I'm like, no, Mary also reminds me of like a Bethany in some capacity where she's super quick and witty. She's a wordsmith, and she'll clap back at you, which then I'm like, oh shit, you would rip me apart like with your words, and you can handle your own. You got this. Right. And another thing that I appreciate about Mary, like when we see in the upcoming preview, and I said this last night in my recap, when we see in the upcoming preview for the finale for this season, when Jenny Wentz throws the glass down on the ground when she's walking away, I have so much respect for anybody who can walk away from a situation like that when somebody's so obviously provoking you, because that's not always an easy thing to do. We've seen housewives before get ripped across the ground for provoking somebody.
And that was like totally escalated behavior. That was like some weird,
that was somebody, like I threw my remote at my husband and broke his ribs. Like I thought you said anger management.
Yeah.
Jenny definitely seems to have a side to her that is just, plus, I agree with you, Adam. I think that, there's no flies on Mary, that Mary can definitely defend herself. But you kind of have to. I don't know. I guess that's just my personal opinion. I think if you're part of it and you're on the cast, especially as a housewife, friends of, maybe you can decide yes or no if you want to come to the reunion, but cast has to come.
And I think though too, another thing that I think we're missing, guys, 600 people in the room. I'm going to go ahead because we are going live with DJ Richie Sky here in 20 minutes. So I'm going to start wrapping up. But another thing that I want to point out too, is I feel like Erica made this statement on the last reunion, and it made a lot of sense. When she looked at the women who were all kind of ganging up on this idea that she knew about what was going on with her husband, she said, you think none of you guys are going to be in this position next season? Every season it's somebody new. This is my season, and I sat here and took it. But if you think that you're not going to be in the hot seat in one of these seasons, if you make it around long enough, you are out of your mind. And I thought about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. All of the women turned on Jen Shaw last season because they felt like she exhibited this behavior that was like
Jen Shaw is completely aggressive,
or like sometimes Jen was passionate, sometimes she like there were moments where it was like, what is going on? And then you see where at the end of the season it looked like she had no friends left. So that was Jen's season. Now it seems like this is Mary's season. I can see where next season it's like, who's next? Who's on the chopping block? Because somebody's going to get it, and they're going to be the main focus.
What would be the reason for filming at the church if Mary's not there, except for they still don't have a storyline?
I think that they're going to sneak her back in for some reason. I feel like she could be an exception because Andy loved Mary.
Well, that's because they built Housewives. They built the Salt Lake City franchise off of her story. They need to love Mary. They need to all be thanking Mary.
Or maybe they could do that one-on-one. I was just thinking about that when Teresa got arrested, right? And you knew she was going to serve time. I think Joe was already in jail. She didn't do the reunion. She did like a one-on-one with Andy. Right. Remember that when she did the one-on-one? Maybe he'll pull Mary aside and be like, okay, listen, we don't want the gang mentality. We want the mob mentality to kind of, that's really aggressive. We just want answers. We'll do a one-on-one, me and you. And then
I would love that
way to keep her on the show, because technically she still showed up. She still fulfilled her obligation. We still get answers, but she doesn't have to get like the peanut gallery of the rest of the cast. Mm-hmm. Her and Andy.
And I think that Andy would be able to navigate that conversation well enough to be like, okay, like this is what's being said about you. These are the accusations. Right. And without everybody trying to talk over her or interrupt her, I think that would give her the proper platform to be, because let's be honest, like, if you want to talk about, was your father's memorial on a Monday or a Tuesday, that's a really shitty thing to bring up, but that's not something that you're not going to freak out and not be able to have other people in the room to have that conversation. Whereas you're talking about Mary's husband, you're talking about her church, you're talking about her congregation, you're talking about a lot of stuff that is coming off extremely shady. So yeah, I agree. If Andy can give her a platform to answer those without having interruptions, give it to her.
Yeah. I think also Bravo should do something like a playbook starting on February 7th, 2022. From this moment forward, if you have any questionable posts, then you're out. If you say anything XYZ, then you're out, or you get suspended or something like that. But it needs to be like an across the board, on period situation, moving forward. This is how we're going to address it. And then we know, as viewers, know what to expect and know how they are supporting the prospective communities that are their viewership. You know what I'm saying? So like Stacey Schroeder, whatever happened with Stassi, that was a lot of stuff that happened within the time she was on Bravo. So yeah, address it. The stuff that happened with Jenny Wynn. Now, while the things were last year while she wasn't on, it got revealed her first season within a year. That's a lot. That's too close. So like maybe if it's like Instagram post within the last 3 years or 2 years that's insensitive, then we can talk to you about it. But going back on like people from 10 years ago on their Instagram, social media, that's a whole different person you were talking to, hopefully. So you shouldn't consider those. But anything like within a reasonable amount of time, 1 or 2 years, and this has come to light, then we get to let you go or something like that. What do you guys think? Like, do you think that could work for them?
Yeah, and I agree. I think honestly, Large, I think that Shaw and I both, and I don't want to speak for Shaw, but I think we both agree, or we all agree with the simple fact that it does seem like there are different rules for different housewives on different franchises or different Bravo celebrities, like whatever you want to call it. If they're not a housewife on Vanderpump Rules, Southern Charm, Summer House, or some shit, I don't know. But it does seem like it's a case by case, and I don't really know why these are viewed as case by case. When if it comes out and it's so obviously racist, bye. If it's vile and you're talking like if it is a video of you doing something and you know it's so outlandish, and then now you're on this public platform and you're showing that this is okay, goodbye. Like if there are things, if you put your hands on somebody, really, it should be goodbye. Like this is not. I like to watch, like I used to. Now I can't watch it because I get anxiety, and then I want to go in the room and fight with Jason, like Bad Girl Club. And Jason walks down. He's like, "You need to walk the dogs." I'm like, "Bitch, I'm not walking nothing." But I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But I can't watch some of those shows because it gets so like
a golden era. Bad Girls Club.
It just gets so crazy, and I can't like. I by the way, guys, don't come after me in the comments on this. I'm just kidding. I would never put my hands on somebody. I didn't even the guy who just elbowed me this past week. I just wanted to, and I didn't. So, to be fair,
maturity, growth. It's growth.
Thanks, maturity and growth. And don't worry, you're going to elbow the wrong person and they're eventually going to get you. So that'll be your thing. That's called karma. But with that, ladies, I want to thank you so much because I am about to jump on with Richie. If you guys are on and you're watching, you want to recap with DJ Richie Sky and I, we'll be on his channel in 15 minutes.
Awesome.
I got to go figure out where this guy is over here, but Tea Talk with Shaw, Larja, before you go, can you let us know, if they don't know, where we can find you?
Sure. Yeah. I run a podcast called Tea Talk with Shaw, like the name there, and it's available wherever you listen to podcasts. So tune in.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you,
and
Shaw.
I have my freaking Larger Curves YouTube channel here in these YouTube streets. I have the Instagram. I have the TikToks. I have a .com. I have all, and I do reviews, chats. I do fitness. I do funny. I do dances. I do recaps. I just like to talk, but I don't know everything. So I like to talk it out with unlike opinions so that we can figure it out together, because the world is big enough for all of us,
right,
to all have these opinions and still love each other and get through the day.
You also messed up one of your points.
Definitely.
You told us a lot of things that you have, but right now we're just seeing a photo of you, and you didn't tell everybody that you have a super infectious smile.
Oh, well, I just woke up, Adam, and so I had to, this is my Jetson face right now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I appreciate you, Adam.
I also love the fact, can I say really quick, I love the fact that we can come on and have these conversations where sometimes people feel like they can't have them because it's going to be a knockout drag out on here. And we can have either different opinions or learn to understand where each other's coming from in these points of views. I think it's so important.
It is.
And I hope when having these conversations, for people who are watching who aren't able to, without being so overly passionate about it and just wanting to like whoop ass over it. And I'm not just talking about Salt Lake City. I'm talking about, if you're talking about someone's religion, relationships, prenups, political, like sometimes people can't handle these conversations. So I love the fact that we're all able to come on here and have different points of views and handle the conversation. I think it's amazing. And I agree with Storm Dorvis.
I love Storm.
Yes, we all love Storm.
Awesome. No, I appreciate you. And I think that's really good. Like, that's the part of life too. Like, I think we all need to like just get used to, it's not always going to be our way. And we can still talk about it and move on. It's not the end of the world, Adam.
It's not the end of the world.
We get to wake up with you tomorrow too and do it all over again.
Hey, 9:30 a.m. We'll see you again.
Okay, thanks. You have a great day. I'll see you over on DJ Richie Sky.
All right, see you there.
Okay, peace.
Bye. All right, guys. So thank you again to all of our amazing callers. And I'm sorry if you guys were in the room and we didn't get you up. I promise tomorrow I'll start with you guys. And thank you to Georgia Carolina. Thank you to Krista Marie. Thank you, honestly, everyone who called in. Thank you to Sarah, Cat Mom. And if you guys bought your tickets to come visit Zach and I, hang out with us in Nashville, New York, or Los Angeles, or all of them, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate the love and support. Also, thank you to all of our amazing mods in here. Thank you for everyone in the live chat. Thank you for this awesome community. I love you guys. And thank you for the super chat, super stickers. I'm going to go fill up on my soda water and get ready for DJ Richie Sky. Also, don't forget, guys, we are going on a live with Jason today at 4 p.m. on Down with Jason to review some of his favorite housewife products. That scares me because sometimes he gives opinions and I'm like, Jason, you understand they see this, right? Like when Lisa Barlow called him out for talking shit about the tequila, I'm like, and I get a DM, I'm like, they see this. Okay. Baby Gorgeous sees this. Anyways, let's move on. Guys, I will see you so very soon. Bye. Bye.